Okay, good afternoon. So today we're looking at, for homework you had exercise 11.3. So 11.3 is on page 370. What? 370. 370. Oops. 370. .3. Yeah? Any issues with 11.3? Number 10. 11.3, number 10. Any issues with 11.4? You had issue with 11.4. Did you say something? No. Sorry? Yeah. We're moving past you already. 11.3. Number 10. Sorry? Any issues with 11.4 before we start answering? Number 7. Okay. This is exercise 11.4, number 7, and this on page 377. Then you guys write your reference for the sums that you do, or the page numbers and so on. Any other problems with 11.4? No other issues? Okay. So let's look at 11.3. In question 11.3, whoops, let's just put the lights off. It's bright. Should be a bit better. Okay, so for 11.3, number 10. 3 po. Is that right? 3 po. Wrong. What is it? 3 po. Huh? 3 po. Alright. Invest 20,000 rand in the money market. The interest paid on the investment is 13% compounded monthly. After 4 years, he added a further 15,000 rand on his investment. Okay. Why are you so late?
Sorry.
Why are you late? Huh? Now you're cutting into your maths period for your bathroom duty. Oh, duty. So this would be a timeline question, okay? Because there's variations happening on the account. So 20,000 rand is deposited into the money market. The interest on the investment is 13% compounded monthly. So the interest is 13% per annum compounded monthly. So it's 1/12. After 4 years, so that takes you to T4, he adds a further 15,000 rand to the account. Question A says, calculate the amount of money that he has in the money market at the end of 4 years before he makes the second deposit of 15,000. Okay? So in other words, they're just considering this part of the timeline. So you don't actually really need a timeline for these questions yet. Because still they're breaking it up for you. Okay? Although it's a good practice for you initially. So for A, it's going to be A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. So your P value is 20,000 into 1 plus 0,13 over 12 to the exponent 12 times. And how many years is that for? 4 years. So let's go with that. Here we go, 20,000 into 1 plus 0,13 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 4. So that gives you 33,546 rand. 546 rand and 61 cents. Not so. Then the B part of the question says the total amount of money that he has accumulated in the money market at the end of 10 years. But what happens first here? What happens first? They're adding a 15,000. So it's 33,546,61 plus 15,000. That gives us an answer of 48,546, comma 61. So that is the principal value line here. Not so? So again, my second A formula, A is equal to P, which is 48,546 rand and 61 cents into 1 plus I, which is 0,13 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 6. Answer, open brackets 1 plus 0,13 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 6. That's going to give you 105,000. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. With 105,000 459, comma 7. Okay, is there any confusion there? Yes, Bukli?
Sir?
Yes?
I don't know, I don't do it for a second and then I got confused. The 15,000, sir, plus 15,000.
Yeah? Why am I plusing 15,000? Because we are told in the introduction to the sum, the total amount, oh yeah, this point here, sorry. After 4 years, he adds a further 15,000. You understand? So we well calculated, as the question says here, before the second deposit is made. Okay, so the principal at that point, when the investment has drawn an interest totaling up with the principal amount of 33,546 rand. And to that amount, 50,000 rand gets added to it. If the question was how much interest was earned, yes, this question wasn't asked. The question was how much interest was earned. Then you're going to say 105,459 rand, 78 minus your initial 20,000 rand minus your second deposit of 15,000. In other words, you're taking off 35,000 rand. So over 10 years, he has drawn an interest of 70,000. Yeah, 70,459 rand and 78 cents. Okay. Any confusion? What's wrong, Michael? Huh? Why you do that? Is this thinking our fellow learners? No. Joking, huh? Right. Question 11.4.
Sir,
Yes.
can you also denote the pizza in that 11.4, sir?
In number 11.4.
Yes.
Why was now? You didn't also on duty now. Huh? Alright. I'll do it afterwards. John invests 10,000 Rand for 5 years. So this is your P value now. Not so. Again, timeline. Okay. So John invests 10,000 Rand for 5 years in a savings account that pays an interest. Calculated. John invests 10,000 Rand for 5 years in a savings account that pays an interest of 15% per annum compounded quarterly for the first 3 years. So that takes you to T3, 15%. So it's 15% compounded monthly for the first 3 years. And then 13% compounded quarterly for the last 2 years. So that takes you to T5. 13% compounded quarterly. It says 1/4. We tell that Peter invests 10,000 Rand. Okay, so this is John. So let's go with Peter. Peter key. Peter invest 10,000 Rand it's T0, sorry, 10,000 Rand in a savings account for 5 years that pays 13% per annum compounded quarterly for the first 3 years. So that's 13% per annum compounded quarterly for the first 3 years, and then 15% per annum compounded monthly. That goes still there. 15% per annum compounded monthly for the last 2 years. Who has a larger sum of money at the end of 5 years? Calculate the difference in the earnings. In other words, you must say who got the better investment and what amount they differ by. Yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Niki Daso. We're going to work with John first. Okay. So in our calculation, I can go A total equals. Remember what did we say? We're going to do it all in one. I'm going to take it till what? Which point? When the interest rate changes. I'll take it up until that point. Not so. So what happens to 10,000 Rand? It's going to draw in interest further. How many years is this? 3 years. So it's 1 plus 0.15 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3. So that's the amount lying there. Now what? What else is happening to the 10,000 Rand? So you draw another interest of 13% compounded quarterly for the remainder of the 2 years. You all okay with that? Let's put that. The other one I will do it the other method, okay? So it's going to be 10,000 into 1 plus 0.15 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3 times 1 plus 13% over 4 compounded quarterly to the exponent 4 times 2. It's going to be 20,199 Rand and 55 cents. Okay, all okay with that? Okay. As promised, I'll do the other method here. what you're going to do is you're going to need to take it till that point. So for A1, it's going to be P into 1 plus I to the exponent n. Don't have to write the formula down every time. It's going to be 10,000 into 1 plus 0, 13 over 4 to the exponent 4 times. How many is that for? 3. So that gives us 10,000 into 1 plus 0, 13 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 3. You 14,679 then. 14,678 rand. 14,678, comma 47. No? But that's the principal line there now, not so. So I must draw an interest for the remainder 2 years. So A2 is going to be 14,678 rand 47 cents into 1 plus 0, 15 over 12 to the exponent 12 times. How many is that for? 2. It's giving me a total of, so this answer into 1 plus 0, 15 over 12. Exponent 12 times 2. Giving you 19,777, comma 0, 5. You see that, people? So who has a better return? Who has a better investment? John. Can you see that, people? I'm not going to put it at the bottom, I'll put it here. So John's investment is better, and it's better by, it's a better investment by how much? It will be 20,199.5 minus, that was 90,777 rand and 5 cents. So 20,199.55. Oops, not 9 too many. Last answer calculated by 422 rand and 50 cents. 422 rand and 50 cents. You guys understand? So what was the issue here? What was the problem here, people? Did you ask me to do this on the board? Did somebody tell me what the issue was with regards to this question? Yes?
I don't know, so I think it was just the way in which it was written kind of threw me also, and I just got confused again. And it was also the last one we did, so I think I was also a bit tired as well, so I don't know. But I didn't do calculations, so I couldn't even do the timeline.
But you understand?
Yes.
Okay. You asked me to do number 3 as well, no? Is number 3 of exercise 11 point. Okay. So we are told the bank advertises a 5-year savings plan on which the interest paid is 7% per annum compounded monthly for the first 2 years. The interest then increased to 9% per annum compounded quarterly for the following 3 years. Calculate the amount accumulated in the savings account, the savings plan, if 120,000 Rand is invested in the scheme for 5 years. So in other words, it's a timeline for 5 years, takes you to T5, T0 at that point. Again, you don't have to draw a timeline in this book. So it's all fairly easy. Not so. So it's 7% per annum monthly for the first 2 years. I'm going to do the short method, okay? Is that okay, people? Or must I do the long one? Okay. So 7%. So it's going to be 7% per annum compounded monthly. Then it changes to 9% per annum compounded quarterly. Okay. 120,000 Rand is deposited, so it's 120k there. They want to know what is the investment worth after 5 years. So we need to consider 120,000 Rand for 2 years. Okay? So you're going to get A1 is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. It's going to be 120,000 Rand into 1 plus 0.07 over 12 to the exponent, 12 times 2 years. Okay? It will be 120,000 Rand into 1 plus 0.07 over 12. Oops. So 1 plus 0.07 over 12 to the exponent, 12 times 2. So that gives us 137,000. It's going to be 137,976 Rand and 72 cents. So that's the amount lying at this point here. Did you see that? So what happens now? There's an interest rate change. Okay? So A2 is equal to 137,976 Rand and 72 cents into 1 plus, the interest rate is now 9% per annum compounded quarterly. So 0.09 over 4 to the exponent 4 times. How many years is that for? 3 years. Alright, so you please answer, open brackets. 1 plus 0.09 over 4 to the exponent 4 multiplied by 3 gives you 180,000. That's fairly high, no? Is that correct? 180,000 204.5. So we will have at the end of 5 years 180,204.50. Okay, any confusion? What was the confusion here?
So I think it's the way I put it into calculator. Everything until the answer. Final.
Okay, so you made a mistake at that point. Okay, any other confusion at this point, people? No. Right, so now we're looking at timelines officially. We're looking at that. No? Timelines. What page is this on? 378. Okay, so now we're looking at timelines. A timeline is useful in financial mathematics where there are several deposits and withdrawals, as well as possible change in interest rate. The timeline provides a visual summary of all the information. This is the first example 1 on page 378. So we are told that the savings account is opened with a deposit of 9,400 Rand and 2 years later. So what we do is draw a line. So here we put T. What go here? To 0. Okay, let's do the timeline together. Okay, so you're going to have here 9,400 Rand. You all agree with that? So 2 years later takes you where? To T 2. A further 5,800 Rand is added to the savings account. So what do I say there? Plus 5,800. You all agree with that? Okay. 5 years after the savings account was opened, another 12,600 Rand is added. Now enter that on your line. So we did that put us to T7 or T5? 5. Why? It didn't say 5 years after the second deposit was made. It was 5 years after the account was opened. That's why I takes you to T5. Okay? Another 12,600 Rand is added. T5 is 12,600 into the account. The interest paid on the savings is 9% per annum compounded monthly. You see, it didn't say for how long, so it's for the whole time period. Otherwise, if there's a change or a variation on your interest, they will tell you for 2 years or 5 years or whatever. You guys understand? So for the whole time period, it's going to be 9%. So fill that into the timeline. So that will be from start to end. It's 9% per annum compounded monthly. Calculate the total amount saved at the end of 8 years. So that's going to be what year? T. Are you all okay with that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a 3-minute head start to set up your calculations and so on. Okay, and then I will answer it afterwards. Okay. Okay. So what happens is, so we're going to consider, okay, how many variations are here? 1, 2 variations. So it's 1, 2, 3, a formula. You'll use it for the thrust. That's all. Let's use it the first time. It's going to be from 9,400 for 2 years at 9% compounded monthly. So A1 is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. Not so? So that's going to give us. So I'm going to do both methods for you, okay? So it will be 9,400 into 1 plus 0,09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 2. That's so? That gives me an answer of 11,200.29. So what happens now at this point? P value changes, not so? So it's 11,246 Rand and 29 cents. plus 5,800 gives us 16,000, 17,000. Did I make a mistake? Okay, so that's the amount lying here now, inclusive of that amount. So A2 is going to give us 17,046.29 cents into what? 1 plus 0.9 over 12 to the exponent. 12 times 3 years. Okay, that gives us what? So that's the amount lying at this point. So I must add 12,600. So your P value now, so it'll be 22,307.56 cents plus 12,600. Sorry? 54, not 56. Okay, which gives us a new P value of 34,000. Do you all agree with that? So what happens now? Throw in interest for the further 3 years. Okay, now for the learners who is typing that into the calculator, not using the answer button, they will be out by a little bit. Okay? So A3, it'll give you 34,907.54 cents into 1 plus 0.09 over 12 to the exponent. 12 times 3 years. That gives us an A total value of 45,681,60. Who got that answer? Okay. Is there any of you that's using the short? Who's using the short method? Right, so I'll do it the short way as well. There's two ways of using the short method. No? I use the change on the interest. Okay. Alright, so what we do is for this all-in-one scenario solution, I say your A total is going to be, I consider 9,000 Rand, 9,001. Remember the interest is constant here. Okay? So consider the 9,400 to the end. Consider 5,800 to the end. I consider 12,600 to the end. Okay? If it's a deposit, it's a plus. If it's a withdrawal, it's a minus. So what we say is 9,400. First the formula, of course. P into 1 plus I to the exponent n. You don't have to write it. So it's into 1 plus 0.09 over 12. And how many years is that for? 8 years. It was a deposit, so it's a plus 5,800 into 1 plus 0.09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times. And how many years from T2 to T8? 6 years. Now it's a plus plus 12,600 into 1 plus 0.09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3 years. So you just go 9,400 into 1 plus 0.09 over 12 to the exponent 8 times 12 plus 5,800 into 1 plus 0.09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 6 plus 12,600 into 1 plus 0,09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3. So the same answer. 45, yes. It's 45,681 rand. 45,681 rand and 60 cents. You okay? That is easier. No? But as I said, there's some people that find it difficult to understand. Okay? Otherwise, you could have done it this way as well. And all ways are acceptable, okay? They won't tell you use the substitution way, the year by year or entry by entry. You can do anyway, okay? The other way is also going straight into a total. What they do is they consider 9,400 rand for 2 years. Okay. So in other words, this is your p-value lying here. Not so? So what you do is you add 5,800 rand to it. So now this is your new p-value. Not so? It's now your new p-value. It must be multiplied by an interest of 9%, so 0,09 over 12 to the exponent, 12 times for 2 years. Which will give me the amount looking at this point here now. That's your p-value. But what happens now? To the p-value, what are you doing? You're adding the 12,600. Can you see that? That's now your new p-value here again. And that must be multiplied by the remaining interest rate for 3 years. So 1 plus 0,09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3. Okay? I think the second method is the best one, the easiest one. So as you can see, it's 2 brackets that was open here. So 9,400, open brackets, 1 plus 0,09 over 12. To the exponent 12 times 2 plus 5,800, open brackets, close brackets, open brackets, 1 plus 0,09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 2 plus 12,600, and that bracket is being multiplied by 1 plus 0,09 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3. Huh? Is the wrong answer?
The one exponent you made wrong.
Which one?
That's 12 times 3.
At the end or at the beginning?
The middle one.
Oops.
Yeah, they.
Supposed to be 3.
Yeah.
45,681 rand and 66. Alright, thank you. So why did you tell me earlier on? You wanted to see if I'm going to get the wrong answer. That's all you want to do is prove me wrong. But thank you. That's 45,681,60 cents. Right, you guys understand? Either method, full marks. Okay, as long as you put the 3 where it's supposed to be, not the 2. No? Was it supposed to write it? Was it at this point? No? I made a mistake. So did I put a 2 or a 3 in there? It's supposed to be a 3. Why? Oh, from T2 to T5. So I put the right thing in, but I wrote here the wrong. It's supposed to be 12 times 3, because from there to there is 3 years. Alright. Okay, any confusion there, people? No? That's example 1. Example 2 before the bell rings. I'll go straight into it. Otherwise, the Afrikaans. You get Afrikaans next. What do you get next? History. Right, so now we're looking at example 2 on page 379. Okay. I'm at the wrong place. Okay. So we are told that Mr. Pillay opens a savings account and deposits 31,000 rand. So you're going to do this together because I know the bell's going to ring soon. So he's going to deposit 31,000. 18 months later, he withdraws 7,200. So what do I write there? 18 months is how many years? 1.5. So this is T0, that is T1.5. Remember that this is your time in years here. Can you see that? 18 months later, he withdraws 7,200. So it's minus 7,200. 3 years after he opened the account, he deposits a further 13,500. So that takes you to where? T? 3. Why? Because at 3 years after he opened the account, 3 years after this point, that's why it takes you to T3. He deposits a further 13,500. 1 year later, so that takes you to T4. He withdraws 6,700 rand. Calculate how much money. Calculate the total amount of money in the savings account at the end of 6 years. That's T6. If the interest paid on the savings is 10% compounded quarterly. So it's a standard interest rate or flat interest rate of 10% per annum compounded. Are you all okay with that? Any confusion here? Any confusion, people? No. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to consider, so there's 1, 2, 3 variations. So there's going to be 4 formula. Not so. But because of time constraints here, I'm going to go with a shorter method. Okay? So your 8 total is going to be, I'm going to consider 31,000 rand for 6 years. That's 7,200 rand for, how many years is it? From 1.5 to, it's going to be 4.5 years. Not so. From there to there, it's 3 years. And there's going to be 2 years. Are you all okay with that? There's going to be 8 total equals 31,000 rand into 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the 4 times. How many years? 6. Carry on. What's the next thing I need to write down? Minus. Why minus? It's withdrawal. So 7,200 rand into 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 4.5 years. Then what do I write? Plus what? 13,500 into 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 3. Carry on. Minus 6,700 into 1 plus 0 comma 1 over 4 to the exponent 4 times. Let's see what we get here. 31,000 rand into 1 plus 0 comma 1 over 4 to the exponent 6 times 4, 4 times 6 minus 7,200, open brackets, 1 plus 0 comma 1 over 4. The exponent 4 times 4.5 plus 13,500 into 1 plus 0 comma 1 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 3 minus 6,700 into 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the exponent. Now you see I can't even enter this into the calculator anymore. Can you see that? So what happens is I need to press equal to at this point. By pressing equal to, I've calculated that. And then I'll take answer minus this here. Can you see that? So let's cover that quickly. As you say, you can't do that. So we take this out. Tomorrow I'll show you another way that you can just do it, or even a shorter punching in of the calculator at this point. Okay? So that's going to give us answer. So at this point we have, at this point here, we have 62,996 and 96 cents. And to that answer I must subtract 6,700 into 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 2. Now you can tell your friends, we're calculating things that the calculator can't even handle any longer. So that's going to give us 54,833 rand and 66 cents. Right, you guys understand? Okay, let's just confirm that answer before. Is that correct? Very right. So for homework, I want you guys to do 11.4. 11.4, you're going to do the even numbers. And 11.5 is the odd numbers. Okay? So 11.4 even numbers, 11.5 odd numbers. People, enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon, class.